Welcome, everybody. I'm Stacey from Nutrition Jobs, and I am thrilled that you are here to be able to listen to how to make money as a dietitian with blogging with a really special guest. So I'm going to let you guys know a little bit about her, and we've got some really great questions from us and from the whole community, from myself as well. I did put a query out to a few others to get some questions, and I got some good ones to be able to share with you. I am actually not going to be sharing my screen because I think what I'm going to talk about is going to be super interesting as it is. But as I'm introducing Katie, I just want to give a little bit of background on her. So I am super excited to bring to you today the amazing Katie Dodd. She is the creator of the Blogging Accelerator Program. We'll talk to you more about that. I've known Katie for a few years, and she is a gift to our dietetic profession and to dietitians wanting to make more money. I think when we first started off as dietitians, like the topic of money was something that wasn't really addressed. And now it's okay to talk about money. It's okay to want to make more money, and it is okay to make more money. And so Katie is here to show us about that. She is a geriatric nutrition expert. She's got a certification in that. She's worked at the VA for over 13 years. She is a dietitian business coach, and she's going to share all that she has learned and building a really robust business. She is the host of the podcast called Dietitian Side Hustle, which I highly recommend you subscribe to as soon as you're done listening to this. She's amazing. There's always lots of great episodes. In particular, there's a really great episode, number 45, where I was a guest. I talked about LinkedIn to show you how you can build up your business and your visibility for your nutrition money-making business using a LinkedIn. She is, though, the creator of the Blogging Accelerator Program, and this is the 2-month accelerated virtual hands-on program to launch us dietitians into the online space, making money through multiple income streams. We're going to talk about one in particular here. These income streams have nothing to do with actually seeing patients. So these income streams can be done after you're seeing patients, before you're seeing patients, if you don't want to see patients at all. So there's lots of flexibility. She has 3 successful and growing blogs, websites. That is the geriatricdietitian.com, dietitiansidehustle.com, highcalorie-recipes.com. So today, Katie will talk to us about how to make money blogging as a dietitian. And Katie's so impressive. Like, her bio takes up like a good half of our webinar time.
Thanks for having me, Stacey. I'm excited to be here.
All right, let's start off with like a really obvious question. I know the question may seem a little pedantic to some, but this is a question I get all the time. Can you just describe in 1 sentence, 2 sentences, 3 sentences, what exactly is a blog?
Yes. And I was trying to think this one through because I knew you were going to ask me this question. I feel like I always give a longer answer because it is kind of hard to describe. But if I were to crunch it down to make it very simple, a blog is a part of your website that brings in massive traffic and then allows you to make money through a blog, through your website. So a blog is simply where you are writing articles about different topics. Someone goes to Google, which is the most popular search engine. They ask a question. If it's related to something you write about, you want Google to pull up your website, your blog, so that way people go to your blog, get the answers to their questions, you get the traffic, and can make some money.
That's awesome. And so just a really quick clarification. So blogs can also be like recipe pages, right?
Yep. There are, informational blogs, food blogs. It's, you have your website, which is kind of static. The blog is where you are posting blog articles. So it's not like a page. It's always the same. It's changing because you're putting up new stuff all the time, new content to help serve your audience.
That's right. You're serving your audience. I think that's sort of like the keyword. I'm going to stop sharing so that we can see all of this. All right. So when did you learn about blogging and that you could actually monetize a blog? What was your process?
Yeah. I always thought that a blog was just like a hobby. I thought it was like a personal journal. You wrote about what you did over the summer, your favorite type of coffee, your mom read it, your dad read it, your neighbor read it. I didn't realize that blogging is a legitimate way to build a business. And there's a lot of people who make a lot of money through it. So I will tell you, I learned about blogging back in 2019. When I started seeing what other dietitians were doing, I was like, I want to be like them when I grow up. And how do I continue my education? So I first started off by taking a class in search engine optimization, SEO. That is the key to building in traffic. Subsequently, I've continued to take other courses in blogging and, leveling up my business and marketing and mastery and business and all of these things. But it really started with learning search engine optimization. So that way I could bring people into my world.
Yeah, that's interesting because, for me, I write articles for nutrition jobs and for exercise jobs. And I've been writing them for years. And I have to admit, I was writing them with topics that I was interested in, maybe like networking or how to, go to Fancy and our conference, our annual conference in the US, like how to show up for a virtual interview. Well, it turns out I was noticing that some of the articles I was writing about like topics on dietitian salaries or on specific job titles that a lot of people wanted, remote dietitian jobs, for example. I happened to notice that some of the articles were getting ridiculous numbers of sessions or the number of times people were going to that site, sort of the metric you look at for the traffic volume. I thought, well, that's really funny. What's that all about? Why is that one getting like 10,000 sessions a month? And the ones that I like are not making. And I think that was when it was all this culmination of learning about SEO, learning about monetizing a blog, and learning about what my users' intent. I am in business for my users, right? Like that's what we are in business for, in addition to making money. So, the idea is that what are people interested in, and how can you answer that question? How can you they're searching for things on the web, and how can you answer that? How can you be the first one to answer that question for them? So that's just driving more traffic to your blog. So I think from your perspective, then from the expert, like how can one drive more traffic to their blog?
Yeah. And this is a great question because this is a big mistake dietitians make. I think the first one is they find out, oh, wait, I can make money blogging. I'm going to start a blog on one of the free platforms because I don't want to invest any money into this. And they end up going down this wrong path. They create a list of here's all the articles I want to write about. Here's all the topics I'm passionate about. And they start writing amazing articles. But unfortunately, no one's going to see because they're not taking, because the thing is, when it comes to blogging, you have to learn the strategy first. You have to get clarity in, what is your niche, who you are serving. You must learn search engine optimization. This is how we bring people into our world. And kind of a sneak peek of one of the parts of SEO is something called keyword research. This is where we're kind of reverse engineering things. We're trying to figure out, there's paid tools you could use to find out keywords. A keyword is what someone is typing into Google, a question they have. So we want to make sure we understand what is the exact phrase someone is typing into Google. What are the questions they're asking? How many people are asking that every month? And what are the odds that my brand new baby website could potentially rank on the first page of Google for that topic? Now, an example I like to give is, the keyword of diabetes. If I was going to write an article today on diabetes, I can tell you I will never rank on the first page of Google. That is a really high difficulty keyword. It's really hard to rank for. If we were to search that, it's going to pull up all the heavy hitters, the .orgs, the .edus, the .govs, right? Like all those big websites.
WebMD or
WebMD. Yep. Those websites have been around forever. And it can feel overwhelming. Like, how am I going to be able to survive in this online world with all these heavy hidden websites? But by doing keyword research, we can find specific topics that still a lot of people search for that aren't as tapped as those heavy hitting ones. And so an example of that, like with my niche, my blog's the Geriatric Dietitian. That's my primary blog. So instead of writing about diabetes, maybe I could write about hemoglobin A1C goals for older adults. Like, it's more specific, it's more kind of niche down, and I'm making that up. I'd have to go do my keyword research, but
with the topic, right? Yeah. And
yes.
You've strung together keywords, so you don't just have the word diabetes, you've got the word geriatric, you've got hemoglobin A1C, you've got different you're like drilling down. I always think of it like, like food blogging, the idea, like I want to write a recipe about chili. Well, so does simply recipe, so does sort of a lot of other, like you said, heavy hitters that we're not going to be able to really compete with. Yeah. And so just drilling down, chili with zucchini or something. Yeah.
I don't chili know with no beans or
right. With no beans.
Sometimes it's amazing. Like, I can come up with a topic. I'm like, oh, I'm sure people are searching this. And I look up and like, no one searches that. And I think part of it, well, part of it is even thinking of regionally, how we speak different. We use different words. We say different things. So, using these tools to figure out what are people actually searching for. And again, that's the biggest mistake I think people make in the beginning, is writing about what I want to write about instead of writing what our audience wants to hear about and what we could potentially rank for.
Yeah.
Now, over time, you'll start domain authority. I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but domain authority, think of it as like how legit Google thinks your website is. It makes you from being the baby blog to the heavy hitter blog yourself. As you build up your domain authority, you can start writing for keywords that are harder to write for. So over time, you might be able to write for these topics that are like, yes, I wanted to write about this, and you could make it work. But in the beginning, we really want to focus on reverse engineering, figuring out what could we write about, creating those contents, building traffic, bringing people into their world, answering their questions. And then over time, we can start getting into maybe that nitty gritty stuff we want to write about. Because if we start with just writing about what we want to write about, we are wasting our time, our energy. We're going to say, blogging didn't work. I tried. See, I knew this wouldn't work, and just totally burn out because it's just wasting your time.
Right. I think that's a really great point, that you put all this effort into something, but you're actually going down the wrong path if you're not eventually getting successful at it, and then you give it up, and not realizing that there are people that can help you go down the right path. And you are that person. So let's assume you start getting some momentum, some traffic going on your blog. What are a handful of ways that you can then make money blogging?
Yes. And this is
monetize it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a big question, because for me, I had no idea. How do you actually make money through blogging? But here's the details. How do you actually make money through blogging? So with the blog, first thing we do, we work on building traffic. You now have all of these people coming to your website with problems, with questions, and we have to figure out, how can I help them with their problems? How can I solve them? And I will say, obviously, not everyone who comes is going to buy, but we are able to create things that can help them. So examples of this for dietitians could include selling digital goods. So that would be handouts, workbooks, worksheets, selling ebooks, e-cookbooks. My first paid product for my website, The Geriatric Dietitian, was an ebook, an e-cookbook called High Calorie Recipes. A lot of what I do is stopping unintended weight loss in older adults, preserving muscle, preventing malnutrition. And I actually had people reaching out to me saying, like, grandma's losing weight. I don't want to buy her the stuff from the stores. Do you have any recipes on high calorie shakes? I'm like, well, I can. So
I can, yeah.
So I think part of it too is, when we're blogging, we focus on building traffic first. And then we create products to sell. We create things to make money through, because in the beginning, it's kind of like the keyword research we were talking about. We write about what we want to write about. If we start making these products that we know people need, if it's not what they want, they're not going to buy it. Where if we start on building traffic, our people will tell us what they want, and then we make that, and then they'll actually buy it because they said they wanted it. So digital goods, ebooks, e-cookbooks, courses. Now I sell a course on how to gain weight. It's something I recorded once, one and done. People continue to buy it month after month. Affiliate sales. A big one is Amazon affiliates. Someone sees your Amazon link. You fully disclose that you get a commission if they buy through it. And if they do purchase through that link within 24 hours, you get a commission. A tiny one, but it all adds up. And then the biggest one, I would say, like the heavy hitter for making money through the blog, is ad revenue. So ad revenue, you work with an ad network. The ad network is the middleman. You have advertisers, you have bloggers. The ad network connects the two. They put code on your website. When people go to your website and see those ads, you make money. They don't even have to click on them. I think you get a little more if they do, but simply by seeing the ads. So those are the 5 main ways I make money blogging. It's through digital goods, ebooks, ads, affiliate sales, and courses. But I will add, there's other ways you can make money blogging. If you work with clients one-on-one, people are coming into your world, they might want to work with you. Group programs, if you sell physical goods, if you are, maybe you do direct sales and you sell supplements or something like that. There's lots of different ways we can make money through a blog. The key is bringing lots of people into our world and then providing things that help solve problems they have. And the thing I will say that I love about making money blogging, these are passive income sources. These are things you create once, they live on your website. You make sales, you wake up, you check your phone, you're like, I just made money and I didn't do anything. So I love passive income. It's my favorite thing.
I know, I do too. You and I were talking about this before, but I always love showing my phone to my kids, like, hey, you guys, I just made some money, just like right now, standing around, just right now, passively. It wasn't free money. It was, there was work that went into it, but then it's a gift that keeps on giving. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I like that analogy. The gift that keeps on giving, for sure.
So those ideas for how writing articles, blogging can make money are outstanding. Thank you for that. And I like how you are very specific with it. That really plants examples in my mind how to make this happen for myself. So I get one of the questions that I had, and you and I have talked about before, is what's the difference then between a freelance writer who writes an article on, let's say, on diabetes, hemoglobin A1C, and a geriatric nutrition for a big company, for WebMD or for Healthline, or for one of those companies that will pay me to do that. So I'm making money writing this article versus having that article live on my web, on my blog.
Yes, this is a great question. And I gave an analogy of this on a webinar. So I pulled up the slide so I can give the specific example for you, because I used to be a freelance writer. That's one of the first side hustles that really got me going, was doing freelance writing. And I love freelance writing. But there's a quote, I don't remember who said it, but it says that we are either going to spend our time and talents building our dreams or building someone else's. And I think what I realized is when I was a freelance writer, I was creating this content for people. I was paid one and done, but then they were going to use that content for their marketing, for their things in their business that are going to make more money. So the thing about freelance writing, which is amazing, I'm still a big fan of freelance writing. It pays you money in the moment, but you don't make any more money on that afterwards. Where with a blog, as long as you do it right, long-term game, this is not, get rich quick money. But if you do it right, you take the time to write that same article for your website, you're going to make money day after day, week after week, month after month. So the example that I have of that, and I guess I'll back up to say freelance writing is great because it pays you now. When you first start blogging, you were not making a lot of money. Over time, you start making a lot. So I actually was doing freelance writing while building my blog business. I was, building my own dreams while making money in the moment, because a lot of us, we got to make money to pay the bills, right? So it was kind of a balance where I was doing that. But then as I started making money blogging, I don't freelance write anymore. I actually did a podcast episode on why I don't freelance write anymore. But here's the example. So I actually have an article I wrote on vitamin D in older adults. I got paid $150 to write that article. It was put on another website related to nutrition. So I wrote that article, one and done. Not going to make any more money off of it. They will, but not me. So $150 for one article. Now there's another article. It's on high fiber cereals. This lives on my website. This one article I want to preface this with, I actually didn't write this article. I could talk more about that later.
Yeah, I'm interested in that too. Yeah.
But this is just a really good example. So this is an article on my blog, high fiber cereals. Like I said, I can get paid one and done for someone else, put it on my website. But this particular one, I think it's a good example because it does make a lot of money. In 1 month, this one article by itself, their ad revenue made $441. And actually I was kind of drafting an email. Let me see if I could pull it up really quick without taking too much of our time.
So,
I went back.
So $400. So that was in June. That was in July. That's going to probably be in September. Continue, even if it was $200 or it becomes $500 in December, it's just compounding, and it's all the time. Yeah. And it's helping a lot of people because it's also building up your own website, your own credibility. You're boosting your domain authority by more people coming in there. So it's just I see it as a win-win. I also like the idea of, you are doing freelance writing and you're getting some interaction with the editor or the publisher, and they're giving you some tips on what they want to see written, or maybe they're giving you an outline, which in the back of your head can then help you later on with your own blog and when your own articles that you're going to own and that you will be able to make money from over time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think there's lots and lots of benefits, especially when you're getting started, but it's when you hit that tipping point of okay, if I were to take the same time and energy to write a blog article for my website, it could make this money month after month, recurring income. That was the tipping point for me, and something that I really want to just emphasize on why I'm so excited about blogging as a business, because again, freelance writing, it's active income. We're trading time for money. It is one and done. Blog takes some time to build up, but it's passive income, money you make month after month, and it's your own brand, it's your own business and money that you get to make. So it's really cool to be able to see those numbers on the back end. That one article has made almost $3,000 to date and will continue to make money, which is really cool. I'm like, I could have written that for someone else.
Just say that one more time. $150 versus $3,000.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really great. Thank you for that. Thank you for that example. So that said, I'm totally convinced. So what do you see as the biggest obstacle that you see dietitians encounter in either building their blog or once the blog is going, the traffic, or what do you see as one of the biggest obstacles for success?
I think, in my opinion, the biggest obstacle is actually mindset. This stuff works. We know it works, but it's having the right mindset of, number one, investing in ourselves and starting, not trying to figure out everything on our own for free on the internet, because it leads you down a wrong path where you're not going to have any success. But then also, I will say, even if you invest in a program to help you build a blog, even if you start your blog business, I feel like motivation can be easy in the moment. You're excited, you're inspired, you're like, wow, look at people making money blogging, I'm going to do this too. It's so exciting in the beginning, but how do we maintain that motivation long term? I think that's the struggle. I think that's the hard part. I see so many people who start a blog, then they just stop writing. They lose that motivation. They lose that drive because it feels like I'm doing the work and I'm not seeing the results. It could take Google, which is, like I said, the main search engine that we really rely on. It could take Google anywhere from 6 to 9 months to even start ranking your blog.
Yeah.
So you're putting in work, you're doing all these things, and it feels like it's not working. The reality is you're planting seeds, but so many people give up before the harvest, right? So I think it really comes down to mindset and believing they can do it and maintaining that motivation. And then also a couple other things. We know that a lot of dietitians struggle with perfectionism, and it can be so easy to just spend so much time learning before you start, so much time building the website to make it pretty and perfect and the best thing ever before they push publish. Even when it comes,
I learned that from you, actually, that it doesn't have to be this gorgeous, beautiful built out site that has all this amazing functionality and all these great resources in the resource section, that it has like these, really fancy food cards or recipe cards. Like, it doesn't need to be that. I think that was sort of eye-opening for me, that it doesn't need to do that. In fact, as you will say in your accelerator program, the less is better, because that helps with the traffic.
Yeah. And so much of it is just embracing the mantra of done is better than perfect.
Yes.
And, we can spend, and I've seen this with people, they spend forever pushing publish on an article. They're taking an article that they could realistically do in a couple hours, and they're 10 hours, 15 hours in, and they still feel like it's not good enough. So really being able to let go of perfectionism, recognize that you are enough right now, you're able to serve and help people. It doesn't have to be perfect. Done is better than perfect, and just hit publish. So I think the more we're able to work on our mindset, the more success we have, because the reality is all this stuff is possible. It works, but we have these like limiting beliefs and barriers that build up in our own mind. It's like, it's us against us. We're the ones who get in the way, and we just have to continually strip down those limiting beliefs and recognize that, you know what, if I show up and I do this work, I have a strategy, this will work. I just can't quit. So
yeah. I wasn't expecting you to say that. That's fantastic. That's really beautiful and well said as well. So I have the Blogging Accelerator program and have been part of the coaching process that you provide. And I think one thing that sort of stuck out to me is that you when you first embarked on this, you had to study YouTube, podcast, articles. You had to really get in there and patch and stitch together this base of knowledge just to create the website, just to know how to buy the domain, the URL, how to do that name server transfer, how to then set up WordPress.org. You learned how to do all these things from all these different little areas. And you put them together into this one resource. And I think that is the gift that you have been able to provide us as participants in this program. So I was going to ask you, what was the hardest part about starting a blog for you, and then sort of transition. Tell us a little then about the Blogging Accelerator Program.
Yeah, I think for me, I was lucky. I learned about blogging and SEO first together. So I learned SEO before I built my website. Now, at the time, there weren't a lot of resources for building the website. So I did have to Google and figure that out. But one thing along my journey is I've continued to invest in my self-education. Like I'm even taking another blogging course now because there's always things to learn. So I kind of feel like my role is like I'm learning all the things, not just about blogging, but about business, about mindset, about building a business based in blogging, and all of these skill sets and things, and bundling them into this course. Well, I say course, but really it's a program, Blogging Accelerator Program. And I will say, I keep saying this thing because I realize maybe I haven't communicated this the best, but Blogging Accelerator Program is actually more than a course.
Exactly.
It starts with a course. It starts with an 8-week course because we got to launch you into the online space. We got to help you get clarity in what you want to do, build that website. If you have a website, audit that website and make sure it's ready to rock and roll for SEO. Then learning the SEO, figuring out what topics you're going to write about, learning how to get more confidence, how to get more time to do the thing you want to do, figuring out how are you going to continue to reach people through social media, through email marketing, what are the income streams you're going to build, and making a plan. But at the end of those 8 weeks, you're kind of just getting started. I will tell you within the program, my goal is to help you get there easier with less confusion, to fast track you, to accelerate you. There are templates, tools, resources. The program is very much action-based. It's here's what you need to know. Now go do it. We're not going to be spending 10 hours on every lesson with you learning, because we really learn in the doing. So it's like, here's what you need to know. Now go do it. Very action-based.
Yeah.
But the end of the 2 months is, I feel like, where the meat and potatoes really happens, because this is where the journey begins, where you're going to keep putting out content. And the Blogging Accelerator Program is designed to help you long-term make money blogging, build a business based in blogging, work on your mindset, all the things. We have a members only Facebook community, which is made up of the most lovely humans. Blogging can be a lonely game. It's you and a computer. And so it's,
yes. I know
so,
that well.
yeah. So it's this community of like-minded people who are on the same journey as you. They're able to like answer the questions you have, because the problem you have today, they had last weekend and have solved. They are able to build you up when you're feeling discouraged. They are able to share their wins, because I feel like this is so much of business. We go through this little back and forth of like, everything is awesome, I can do it, to who do I think I am? This is never going to work, and this up and down. So provide that support through all of those up and downs. We also have 3 monthly calls. We have a monthly Q&A call, a guided blog starter call, which helps, at least 1 hour a month to dedicate to getting at least one blog article out. More is better, but at least one. We have a guest coach who now comes in, who teaches on marketing, sales, and mindset, because again, those 3 are biggies. We're not just creating a blog. We are building a business, and we have to start thinking like business owners and learning all these skills, so that way we are able to make big impact and be able to make money. And then we also have, this part's kind of newer and I'm really obsessed with it, but we have a blog accountability program. So I feel like we're so quick to be able to break promises to ourselves.
It's
How
so
many
true.
times do we make a to-do list or say, I'm going to do this today? Then life gets busy. Oh, I just don't feel like it. I'll do it tomorrow. We unfortunately break promises to ourselves all the time, but we are less likely to break a promise to someone else. So we have an accountability program where you connect with someone who you're sharing, here's my goals, here's my dreams, here's what I want to do. You don't want to let them down. So if you tell them you're going to do it, you're going to do it, but you're also going to build up and cheerlead them in their journey. So we have this accountability program we started. We also have, part of that is this challenge we do every month, where when you write a blog article, you go to our Facebook group and you put the post for that month. And that is an entry into a drawing. So at the end of the month, we do a drawing for a $50 cash prize. So it's a way to kind of incentivize to do what you signed up to do anyways. Because if you're going to be a blogger, you're going to write articles, but it's a way that makes it, I think they call it like gamifies it. It makes it fun. It's exciting, like, because every blog article is an entry. So if you write 5 articles, that is 5 entries.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. I'm in the program, but I don't think I knew that part. Yes.
It's new. We started it in June, and it is really fun. So it's just a way to, it's a way to challenge each other. It's a way to build up each other. It's a way to like celebrate each other's wins, because the reality is, even if you don't win the $50, you're winning because you're creating content, which is building your traffic, which is going to make you so much more money in the end. So there are lots of moving parts with Blogging Accelerator Program, but essentially the goal of it is to help you to stop dreaming and start doing, start building your own dream, your own business based in blogging, where you don't necessarily have to work with patients, because there are a lot of introverts are in the group, and and it's designed to support you on this journey long term.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, I think one of the beauties is there is this technical information that you need that becomes part of the obstacle in your mind. So once
Yeah.
you get a lot of screenshots and shares of
Yeah.
the stuff. So their technical information is there, workbooks, worksheets, lots of technical support. But I think the beauty of the program and what you're able to do is this momentum mindset. So, it's easy to take 1 or 2 days off and then you sort of forget about it. But if you're always working towards that, I think having these programs, having the coaching, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
It's the coaching element to it that makes it incredibly valuable. And I was just peeking in at one of the questions in the Q&A. One of the questions is about how often should you post an article, and maybe how often do you actually post, and do you write all those articles, or do you have people helping? Is that cheating, or like what's your thought on all that?
Yes. Good question. When I first started blogging, I was under the impression if I just wrote one blog article per month, I would have amazing success. I will tell you, like everything, blogging changes a little bit, but the more I've dove into it, the more I've realized volume is actually key. Learning SEO, working on your strategy. There's a lot of things. We won't get into the weeds like backlinks and site speed, all the things.
But you explain all of that in the program.
Yeah. We go in the nitty gritty in the program, but really, the more articles you could put out, the better, because I will tell you, SEO is an educated guess. There's no guarantee that if we write an article that it will show up on the first page of Google. So especially in the beginning, we almost want to cast a wider net and figure out, what is Google going to rank me for? What are they going to see me as the expert for? And once we track our own data and figure out, okay, Google's ranking me for these topics, I'm going to write more of those topics, and we could use our own data to guide us in creating more. So I will tell you, the more articles we could do, the better. And that's why embracing done is better than perfect. Don't get in your head. Like, you just got to focus on getting out content and understand you're a dietitian. You got this. It's good enough. So in the beginning, I was writing one blog article per month, but I will tell you, the perfectionist in me got in the way. Every article was going to be the best article known to man. It was going to be thousands and thousands of words. I was going to have Pinterest pins, Instagram, posts. I was going to have infographics. I was going to have videos on YouTube, and I was going to have at least 20 peer-reviewed literature articles to prove that I really knew what I was talking about. So there were all these things that I created as these impossible.
Takes a month to write. Yes.
Yeah. So 3 months into blogging, I actually burnt myself out because I created these ridiculous standards, and I ended up not blogging for the next few months in my journey because I was so burnt out. Something that was really amazing, I created something that wasn't so fun. Cool thing about being a business owner, there's 2 things you have to do. You have to be ethical and you have to pay your taxes. Other than that, it is your business and you can do what you want to do.
That's right. That's right. When you want to do it. Yeah.
So this was around January of 2022 when I was like, what am I doing? I got to change the game. So that's when I really embraced the mantra, done is better than perfect. That's really where it became like something I still say to myself like every day. But my goal was then to put out 2 to 4 articles per month that were good enough.
Okay.
Good enough.
I like that.
Yeah. And that's been really my standard, is 2 to 4 blog articles per month. And over time, I will tell you, I'm not the only one writing for my blog. I mentioned that one article. I'm like, I actually didn't write that. I work with students. I work with dietetic interns. I work with volunteers. It's really wonderful for them because they get to learn about blogging and all this, like, non-traditional things they could do as a dietitian.
Yes.
And they also really love actually having an article on the internet with their name. And it's something they could add to their own CV, their own resume, as a publication,
and
a
on
sample.
LinkedIn. You can put it on LinkedIn as a featured article.
Yes, on LinkedIn.
Post right back to it. Yeah.
Yep. And if they want to start being a freelance writer, they've got a work sample right there. So it's really a win-win. I have someone writing articles. I have, they get that experience. And plus I feel like I get a lot of sessions because they share those articles with their family, their friends. And like,
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Yeah. And then
they're so excited.
Right. Exactly. So then do you, and their friends, do you give them so you give them the keywords or the keyword phrases you want them to use? And then did you give them an outline, or do you make them come up with an outline and what to put in there?
Yeah. So what I do is I actually, I'm a course creator, and I've actually almost created like a course for interns and students. So I actually have videos that they watch, very short training videos, some little standard operating procedures. So I give them a keyword. They watch this little training on how to make an SEO optimized outline. They write the outline, they send it to me. I say, that
Oh,
looks awesome. Or, hey, let's tweak this piece here and there. Then once the outline's ready, they write the article, a little training on how to write an SEO optimized blog article. And so they're able to do it kind of all on their own. And I like the idea of having these pre-recorded trainings, because when we're on calls ourselves, we could really get the most out of our time together, because I'm not just repeating the same thing over and over again. So they could
right.
learn through the trainings. And then when we're together, we work on a lot of things, even with like their own, careers, vision, goals, what they want to do. So there's a lot of mentoring and coaching in our calls, but interns are, I love working with
Yeah.
students, but
Yeah. I know.
interns write a lot. But then also, as I've been able to make money, I actually pay dietitians to write for me, which is like the coolest feeling ever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I remember when I got my first freelance writing gig, and I was like, I got paid $1 for that sentence. And I was so excited, And so it's just really fulfilling for me to be able to give that opportunity to other dietitians getting started. So that way they also can build their portfolio. And over time, I've actually started to write less. I've now hired a dietitian 10 hours a week. She's her job title is nutrition blog manager, and she's actually managing my blog. She's writing articles, she's editing and managing like students or volunteers who are writing for the blog. So I'm actually in this position now where I'm actually pretty hands off. I
Yeah.
occasionally write a blog because I do love writing. And sometimes like, when you're like, I know I need to do this, but I don't want to. I'm like, this is a great moment to write a blog article. But that's like, I think I've
Right.
written 3 blog articles this year. But yeah, it's this matter of, with a blog business in the beginning, you're going to be, spending a little more time in it. When I started, it was a side hustle, 5 to 7 hours per week or less. Over time, other people started writing for me. I was at maybe 5 to 7 hours per month on the blog. And then now I'm pretty hands off, where I don't have to be involved in the blog at all. And it's, in the beginning, a little more work, not a lot of money. Over time, less work and way more money. So it's a beautiful
Yeah.
way it transitions.
Right. Right. I love that. I had a question that came into the chat about if you're starting off and you're trying to figure out your niche and you're in a different industry, like you are a clinical dietitian, you are in nutrition support. How do you figure out? I know that you do this in the course as well, but do you have any suggestions about how to find your niche, which is like step number 1, which could also be the great big orange cone of the obstacle of getting you moving forward?
Yeah, I've got a lot of things I teach, I could say about finding your niche, but I will say for blogging, I think it's really important to find something you're passionate about, because this is going to be something that's long-term game. You're going to be writing about it over and over again for a very long time. So sometimes we have to avoid the temptation to see what other people are doing, or see like, I think this is a mark. I think I could make a lot of money in this niche. I'm going to do it for the money. We have to do it because we're passionate about it, because we love it for the right reasons. There are a gazillion people online. So there is room for so many different niches. So really finding something you're passionate about, but then also saying, and I feel like a lot of dietitians feel like I have to be the expert. I'm a board certified specialist in gerontological nutrition. I started my website, The Geriatric Dietitian, because of that. Did I need to have a specialty credential to start this website? No. If you're working maybe in clinical and you feel like, well, I really want to talk about health at every size, but it's not really what I'm doing in my day-to-day job. I'm not the expert enough. I don't know enough. So you might avoid doing the thing you really want to, but I think you should lean into it, because the truth of the matter is you're going to be writing about it. You're going to be researching. You're going to become the expert. As dietitians, we all have a base knowledge of nutrition, and, whatever area you want to go into, you can. And the other thing I do want to add is, I think so often we're dietitians, we went to school for this. We feel like whatever I have to do has to be related to nutrition, because this is what I invested money to become. In the online blogging world, you can shift outside of it. You could incorporate nutrition and a passion not related to nutrition. In Blogging Accelerator Program, we have this really amazing dietitian, Liz. Her brand is the Dietitian Editor, and her focus is on like writing ebooks, publishing on KDP. Like, her content isn't specific. I mean, she talks to dietitians because, that's her people, but really she's focusing on editing and writing and things that weren't in the wheelhouse traditionally of a dietitian. So I think that's one more thing, is recognizing like you can shift outside of dietetics to be a blogger. You can combine blogging with other things you love. And, the door really is wide open for what you can do and the impact you can make online. It's just really, I think following with your heart is big, because you're going to be doing this for a long time. Be mindful not to follow other people because you think that's where money is being made. Because if you follow with your heart and your passion, use the right strategy, the money typically will follow.
Oh, Katie, that is so good. I feel like we can talk all day. This is one of my favorite topics. Well, my first favorite topic is how dietitians can make more money. And then blogging, I just love the whole thing. And I love that you've been able to bring in all of your expertise, all of the studying that you've done, all of the building up the idea of how to create this blog and how to create this business as a dietitian or health professional into the Blogging Accelerator Program. I realized I hadn't shared like what this looks like. I will give you some links to that below. She's signing up her next cohort. The doors close at the end of August, but she will have some more openings if you're looking at this video after this time period. And I will share the link also to my affiliate page. If you do purchase her course through my link, I will give you a ton of free digital goodies related to LinkedIn, your resume and templates, lots of freebies in there as well. And speaking of that, I've got to just want to make sure that everybody remembers to get your LinkedIn profile checklist, which is at the top of my website. You can find it there. There's always lots of links there. And Katie, I mean, you've just been, I'm gonna go back up to your page. You've just been a gift to our profession. I really, really appreciate all that you have done for us. And thank you so much for your time. Like I said, we could go on and on about this. I just really, really appreciate it. It's so great.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm very excited to have you as an affiliate. You have like some amazing affiliate bonuses. So if you go through Stacey's link, you're going to get Blogging Accelerator Program, which is going to provide you lifetime access, so much value. You're going to build a blog business, but then you're going to get all of Stacey's bonuses too. So it's like a win-win. So
yeah, right. Big old bundle.
Yeah.
Do check out Katie's podcast. It's very, very helpful. I will put in links for all that. It is very, very valuable. I highly recommend it. She always gives lots of great actionable items, and it's just super valuable, obviously. Do connect with both of us on LinkedIn. Katie, I will put the links for her in there, and then myself as well. So thank you everybody for joining today, and happy blogging.
Yes. Thanks, Stacey.
Bye for now, everybody.
Bye.